We've been around since 1971. We started off as the FedEx Group originally. At that point, we were primarily a catering company. Over the years, we've expanded our service offering. We added cleaning, hygiene services, security, facility solutions, remote camps. The strategy of the group is to balance the geographies with the services to the client requirements, and thereby create a blend and a mix to suit our client needs. Over the years, we've grown substantially with around 40,000 employees. A lot of training goes into developing our employees and a lot of product solutions towards our customers. And that's the blend of the organization. As far as we're concerned, that private equity investors are a far better style investor for our type of asset. We have a huge potential growth trajectory that requires patience, it requires investment, it requires time, and it requires us to weather the storm of the cycle as we're investing and preparing the platforms to absorb the next levels of growth. Our organization has been at the forefront of creating community projects, creating farms, and investing in those sort of projects to create, number one, employment, and number two, sustenance for the communities.
We decided to start this organization as a means of getting access to quality private education at an affordable rate. Our real impact that we're having is on providing opportunities for people that wouldn't have had that educational opportunities otherwise. You can look at the revenue and you can look at the operating profits and the returns, but what we're doing is we're delivering quality education and we're giving access to people that wouldn't have had it otherwise. In 2014, we had just over 750 learners. The private equity partner allowed us to upgrade our existing facilities. It also allows us to build new greenfield schools. So our impact is not only one of economic change, it's also one of social change. And that is to the value of almost R1 million a year that we are giving back.
UCLIP was started about three and a half years ago now, out of a garage in Newlands. You know, it's almost like I envisage it as a recipe book that manifests the ingredients. Convenience, meals delivered to your door, no longer any need to kind of think about or shop for what you'd like to eat. You skip the grocery store. We were about 40,000 rands revenue monthly when we met up at Silvertree. So they understand that scaling process and allowed us to implement best practice procedures in a much more kind of efficient fashion. We also support a charity called Ladles for Love. So every single piece of leftover product that's in the fridge every week, and we've actually now that our business is so large, unfortunately there's a quality control procedure, so if something doesn't meet standard, it cannot enter a box. But all of that gets turned into soup, and we feed around 100 people.
The company set itself on the task to grow. Our philosophy was very simple, to manufacture at world standards. A lot of surplus money went into investment into the company, where we invest in world-class equipment. We were very competitive in the South African market, and we constantly were dominant. In 2000, when the private equity deal started, it was a company with a turnover of just under 200 million. And when we sold the company, we were on over 1.2 billion turnover. So over the time, there has been quite significant job creation. Decision making in terms of investments was very quick, very simple. They look after the factory, and you have to do it because it's the right thing to do.
So Fidelity as a business started 60 years ago. Each of these businesses run their own excos, We've concentrated in South Africa deliberately. That has given us the opportunity to leverage those profits and acquire the businesses in the cash in transit space and in the armed response space. So in 2006, Fidelity Security Group had a turnover of just under $1 billion. We're projecting a turnover of 8.8 billion, closing Feb 2019. We employed in 2006 between 20 and 25,000 people. They also gave us flexibility in terms of being able to bring in a substantial black empowerment investment to the business. They supported us in terms of understanding the strategy, delivering on that strategy, and supporting us in making the diversification and the acquisitions we needed to. Job creation is a big part of how we run our business, how we pride ourselves in terms of management, in terms of the people we support. If you think that we employ 55,000 people and they support on average 5 people in their family, that's in excess of 250,000 people that Fidelity Security Group supports in the active economy.
Botrytis just expedites the rate of decay of the fruit once it's been picked off the vine. The need for the product arose because of that post-harvest fungus called botrytis. They're part of the problem that they have. From 2012 through to about 2015, they went from 140 to 150 odd million units. From 2015 through 17, once we'd put some of our structures in place, educated the markets a little bit more about the values and that of the business, and shifted from audit taking to really pushing sales. We're currently sitting at around 190 odd million units a year. I think the investment by the equity partners had an influence on our ability to service those markets. And there were swings and roundabouts across our 20 plus markets. And at the end of the day, their investment in things like the facility. So we bought these premises in 2016. That was part of the investment, and they really came to the table making the facilitation of that so much easier. If we take where grapes are grown in South Africa in particular, the Uppington area, the Northern Cape, Kakamas and Southern Namibia is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in South Africa. Something like a local school in Uppington, which has got a diverse demographic. A lot of the farm workers' children are in the same schools as the mega farmers' children. And there we've gone, for example, and supported the initiative that the school has taken to create a recreational facility around the school.
We started in September 2014 with the intention of providing an alternative electronic form of payment to people that may not have credit card but may have a bank account. How could you empower people that suffered from financial inclusion and give them the opportunity to transact online? What's very interesting is if you look at a 6 months period post the investment of Callan, we were able to grow the business by an extra 280%. We're competing with giants, global giants, with the like of Visa and MasterCard. This basically allowed us to already open in an additional 2 markets, which are respectively Nigeria and Namibia, and we're on track now to open in another 6 markets in the next 12 months. We created a demo of the iPay product that allows any merchant that wants to sign up or anyone that's interested in testing our application to actually create a test transaction of values that will be directly deposited into a Chalk bank account.
Our customers are the internet service providers, the classics, the Vox, the M-Webs, the Afrios, all of those in the traditional sense. And we're the infrastructure owner, which we provide the infrastructure to all these service providers to provide services on top of that to the consumer. The growth rate is very high. I think we're growing maybe at 200, 300, 400% a year. For us to be able to raise such a high amount of capital, be it in various forms, the mezzanine, the private equity and the senior debt, was really instrumental so that we could deploy very quickly. We need to get it right, not just for the haves, but also for the have-nots.
Sweep South is an online platform in the form of an app and a website that connects domestic workers in South Africa who are experienced and vetted by us and who are looking for work. So prior to joining the platform, would have been unemployed or underemployed. We started the business about 4 years ago. We celebrated our 4th anniversary on the 1st of June this year, 2018. My co-founder and myself have grown the team from just the two of us working at home from our dining room table to working with over 38 employees in-house. From that point to now, the top line revenue growth has been about 23 times. We've worked with 8,000 domestic workers, so we've provided work opportunities for 8,000 women. And that gives you around 3%, so 3% or so of the unemployed base. So effectively, we've created employment opportunities for 3% of South Africa's unemployed base of domestic workers. So when it comes to social impact, we're not just looking at the day-to-day business of the platform. We also look at our internal culture and making sure that that also creates an environment that is very conscious of social impact. This year we sponsored prizes for schools, and we handed out big kind of gifts of sanitary towels to schools. We know that that's a big issue. Worked within our community to deliver food. We try and remain topical with kind of what's going on outside of Sweep South in terms of days that create an opportunity to kind of broaden your corporate social responsibility.